Good morning everyone. Welcome to Department of Collegiate and Technical Education. Today we are going to discuss the course on electrical power generation. In that Unit 2, that is nuclear, diesel and gas turbine power plants. So last class we are discussed about the working principles, construction and the functions of the components of the nuclear power plant has been discussed, and also the working of an nuclear reactor. So in this session we move on to the next content of the nuclear power plant. That is, session 3 will gives the brief introduction about the nuclear power plant impact on the environment and nuclear waste disposal and the nuclear energy applications and multiple choice questions and their answers. This is the third session of the Unit 2. The topic is nuclear power plant. The content included in this session of the topic nuclear power plant is: topic 1 is nuclear waste disposal and safety. Topic 2, applications of nuclear energy. Topic 3, comparison between thermal power plants and nuclear power plants. Topic 4, multiple choice questions. Topic 5, multiple choice questions and answers. The first topic is the nuclear power plants impacted. So it is very important to study the nuclear power impact on the both environmental and the human, because the emission of a radiation from the nuclear power plant is very dangerous, which will harmful for both environment and the human. So first we should know the impact of this nuclear power plant on the different environmental, animals and the human. So in this topic, first is health physics, that is, the impact of the nuclear power plant has been what are all the impact on the health. So first one is the radiations coming from the nuclear power plant can cause danger to living cells by ionization process. Second is the radiations enter our body through breathing, eating, drinking or cuts. That is, the radiation can enter through this channel to the human. Third is, after removing the radiations, still some radiations remains in the body. So then we need to give the attention on this radiation. Fourth is, this radiation cause damage to the body, such as sudden health of illness like leukemia, anemia, cancer or cognition abnormalities. So these are all the some of the impacts of a nuclear power plant under the health, which is called as an health physics. Next, impact on the environmental and also how to control, which is called as an environmental control. The first thing is the checking of radiation levels periodically, both for specifying precautionary measures, estimating the probable exposures of staff to radiation. That is, the staff working in the nuclear power plant has to be check the radiation levels periodically and estimating the exposures of the staff to the radiation and specifying the precautionary measures on the staff or a radiation. And third one is analyzing the dangers of radiation, marking of zone, etc. That is, the markings of the radiation zones has to be done for in a nuclear power plants. The next impact is personal monitoring. In the personal monitoring, measuring and recording the radiation dose received by plant staff. Next, photographic films which are sensitive to radiations are used for this purpose. That is, the person who is working in the power plant should go through the measuring and recording of radiation dose received. So, a photographic films are used to measure this amount of radiation on the staff. The next is the biological monitoring. That is, carrying out routine checks or medical conditions of workers. So this is about the 4 different impact of the nuclear power plant. That is health physics, environmental control, personal monitoring, biological monitoring. The next topic of this session is nuclear waste disposal and safety. So, whatever the waste coming from the nuclear power plant has to be disposed safely so that it should not harmful for the environment and also the human. So, in the waste disposal, in this topic, the waste has to be segregated in different techniques. So, there are 2 main problems with the nuclear power plants. One is management of radioactive waste. Second one is the danger passed in the case of accident is very severe and long lasting. That is, the waste disposed by the plant has a very danger and also severe And one more thing, the management of this waste is very difficult, or there is a need of a management of the radioactive wastes. In a radioactive emissions, intensity of the radio waste is very high and it emits gamma rays which are harmful for the animals and human. Because of the intensity of the waste is very high, it will harmful for the animals. The emission like gamma, alpha and beta. So this disposal of waste has to be important in the nuclear power plant. So the wastes are three kinds, that is solid waste, liquid waste and the gaseous waste. It has been divided into three types of waste. The first one is the solid waste. The solid fission products are stored in a shielded storage vaults and solid waste is fixed in borosilicate glass and this is stored in a leak proof tight capsules. Okay. So these capsules are stored in a deep salt mines and also this large containers with the radioactive waste are placed at the bottom of oceans. Likewise, solid fission products are being safely disposed in a strong containers or capsules and placed in salt mines and the oceans. The another way of disposing is separating the long-lived isotopes into short-lived stable products following neutrons absorption in the fusion reactor. So in the nuclear reactor itself, by absorbing the neutrons, it is separated into long-lived isotopes into short-lived stable products so that the intensity of the isotopes is get reduced. This is the another method for disposal or separating the isotopes or neutrons, radiations. Next method is the sludge from the cooling ponds first diluted and discharged into the ocean. That is, whatever the sludge present in the cooling ponds due to the nuclear exposed steam is diluted and discharged into the ocean. And one more method is the sludge from the cooling ponds are first heavily diluted and then discharged into the oceans. So these are the methods of disposing the nuclear power plant. The next type of waste is the liquid waste. So the liquid waste disposed by the nuclear power plant are first converted into clinkers of small volume and then it is sealed in a metal containers and these containers are stored into deep salt mines. This is the disposing of a liquid waste. Next type is the gaseous. The gaseous effluents are filtered and discharged into atmosphere, whereas far from fire hazardous materials. That is filtered and discharged to the atmosphere, which is far away from the fire hazard materials. There we can dispose this gaseous effluents. Likewise, the three ways are properly disposed to the environment. Next we move on to the next topic, applications of a nuclear energy. Because the nuclear energy we are not using only for the generation of the power plant, and also it can be used in different fields like military, medical, industrial application, and also environmental applications. So likewise there are so many applications of this nuclear energy. The first one is the military applications, such as nuclear weapons. Preparing of the nuclear weapons by using a nuclear energy. So there are two types of nuclear weapons are distinguished. First one is to explode in the case of atomic bomb by using a nuclear energy. The second application or utilization is included cruisers, aircraft carriers and submarines. So all these fields the nuclear energy is used to prepare the nuclear weapons, or used as a nuclear weapons in the military applications. That is, it can be used as a weapons and also in the applications of submarines, aircraft carriers and cruisers. So the nuclear energy is also used in industrial applications. That is, used in a development and process improvement in the measurement, automation and quality control, and also used in a prerequisite for the full automation of high-speed production lines, and also used in applied to the investigation of processes, mixing, maintenance, and also it is used in a wear and corrosion study of the plant and machinery and making plastics. So these are all the applications of a nuclear technology in industry. That is quality control, automation, high speed production, processes mixing maintenance, wear and corrosion study of plant and machinery, and making the plastics. So the next field is the nuclear medicines. The nuclear energy is used in medicines, is very popular. That is, it is used in radiopharmaceuticals and radiotherapy. The nuclear energy is used, and also it is used in the treatments of malignant tumors, calligraphy for a cancer treatment, etc. And also nuclear medicines are used in radiation biology to sterilize medical products are used. So these are all the applications of a nuclear in medicines. Next application is the nuclear technologies. The nuclear technologies are used in controlling insects, pests, and also use of various resources, improved crop varieties, and also in the establishment of the conditions to optimize the efficiency of fertilizers and water. So all this field we are going to use the nuclear technology in the field of agricultural developments and also in the optimization of the efficiency of fertilizers and the water. The next application is environmental uses of a nuclear technology. In the environmental, the isotopes of nuclear is used to determine the amounts of polluting substance and places and for the causes. So to determine the environmental polluting substances and the places, this nuclear technology is used or using. And also in the field of environment, the nuclear technology is used for the treatment of beam electrons to reduce the environmental and health consequences of large scale employment of fossil fuels. So indirectly this nuclear technology will, or a beam of electrons to reduce the environmental and the health consequences due to the fossil fuels. And also it is used in solving problems such as greenhouse effect and acid rain. Because of the fossil fuels, using of the fossil fuel, the nuclear technology will solve the problems in a greenhouse effect and the acid rain. Next we move on to the topic comparison between the thermal power plant and nuclear power plant. Since both are generating the electricity by the boiling water method, so the comparison between these two are the very much important. Either it should be a cost wise or a fuel wise. So let me see that comparison between these two plants. First one is thermal, second one is nuclear. Number 1, site located near water supply and coal available. So in the nuclear, site should be far away from the dense population. Second one, initial cost is lower than nuclear power plant. In the nuclear, initial cost is higher due to building of nuclear reactor. Third one, running cost is high due to coal. In the nuclear, running cost is lower. Fourth one, cost of fuel transportation is high. In the nuclear, cost of fuel transportation is low. Fifth, less environmental friendly. Nuclear, better friend of environment. Sixth, overall efficiency is 25%. In the nuclear, more efficient than steam power plants. Seventh, maintenance cost is very high. Seventh, in the nuclear, maintenance cost is higher. Eighth, more standby losses. In the nuclear power plant, less standby losses. In the seventh one, maintenance cost is higher because a skilled labor is required for an operating of the nuclear reactor or a power plant. So these are the some of the comparison between the thermal and the nuclear. So next we move on to the next topic, that is multiple choice questions on a nuclear power plant. First one is, the efficiency of a nuclear power plant is comparison to a conventional thermal power plant is. Choices: A same, B more, C less, D may be less or more depending on size. So the answer for this is C, that is less, because the efficiency of the nuclear power plant is compared with the conventional thermal power plant is less. Second one, the efficiency of a nuclear power plant in comparison to the conventional and nuclear consideration is: A higher cost of nuclear fuel, B high heat rejection in condenser, C lower temperature and pressure condition, D high initial cost. The answer is C, that is lower temperature and pressure condition. Next, third one, the risk of radioactive hazard is greatest in the turbine with the following reactor: A pressurized water, B boiling water, C gas cooled, D liquid metal cooled. The answer is B boiling water, because the radioactive hazard is greatest in the turbine with boiling water. Fourth, artificial radioactive isotopes find application in A power generation, B nucleonic devices, C nuclear fission, D medical field. The answer is D. Medical field. That is, artificial radioactive isotopes are find applications in medical field. Fill in the blanks. Fifth, dash is used to give protection against radioactive radiation during the process of fission reactor. The answer is shielding. As we already seen the nuclear reactor, a shielding is provided to give the protection against radioactive radiation during the process of fission reactor. Answer is shielding. Sixth, dash is used to slow down the neutrons released during fission. The answer is, what is the answer means? In the nuclear reactor, a fast moving neutrons can be converted into slow down by using a moderator. The answer is moderator. Seventh, the nuclear furnace is termed as dash. It is termed as a nuclear reactor. Answer is nuclear reactor is termed as a nuclear furnace. Next, eighth one. The heat produced in the nuclear power plant is by dash. That is, heat produced in the nuclear power plant is due to fission and combustion. Next, ninth one. The function of heat exchanger is to convert dash into dash by using the heat generated in the reactor. The answer is, in the heat exchanger, the water is converted into steam by using a heat generated in the reactor. The answer is water and steam. Next, 10th one. PHWR means dash. PHWR means pressurized heavy water reactor. The answer is pressurized heavy water reactor. This is the one of the kind of an reactor is used in a nuclear power plant in order to extract the heat from the nuclear reactor by using an heavy water. So these are all the discussion in the third session of the nuclear power plant. So we are all discussed all the topics regarding this, regarding the nuclear power plant. Thank you. So the course outcome of this session or a topic is explain in detail nuclear power plant, diesel power plant and gas power plant. Thank you.